The DAZN Boxing Show is on the road in Newcastle as Next Gen Boxing comes to the northeast. An opportunity for the future stars of the sport to have their night under the lights. The countdown to fight night starts here. Adi Oladipo here in Newcastle for the Next Gen card alongside Mr. Commentator Extraordinaire. Former boxer, you wouldn't know that though, would you, sometimes? Because you know you're so good at commentating.
Wow, stop it.
That's what it is, I think. We're here for the Next Gen card. I like these cards.
I do.
Because we're at a stage now, I guess, as well, where you look at some of the best British fighters, and they are in their final chapters, aren't they? AJ's in his 30s, Fury's in his 30s. We are going to see or look to find new stars, and I think there could be a couple on this card.
Well, look, do you know what I said? I really think Newcastle could be a sleeping giant, not just in the UK, but in world boxing. It could be a real hotbed for big shows in boxing, and the reason I say that is because the talent.
Yeah.
You know, you just look at the top of the bill, Cyrus, right through to Pat, to Callum, and Mark Dickinson, you know, to name four. Tremendous talents. But that aside, their fan base, they come out in their thousands. You see it with Lewis Ritson. You know how many come out. I mean, Joe Laws on undercards of Lewis Ritson, you know, they really do come out in their thousands. And, you know, that coupled with the talent, there's going to be some really, really big nights here. Yeah,
let's talk about Cyrus Pattinson. Obviously, Chris Jenkins, former British Commonwealth champion. I looked at his last 3 defeats. He's lost 3 of his last 4, but I don't know if it tells the true story. I thought he was competitive against Ndongo, competitive against Tara McKenna. Obviously, got stopped by Eko Usman. I do wonder what's there, though. Yeah. What's left?
Well, I mean, his career is on the line. Yeah. For me, and that makes you a dangerous fighter. I think it's down to Cyrus to sort of beat the fight out of Jenkins when it gets tough. Will he still have that little bit of fight, that want fire, to go. That want to push it through the gears? I'm not sure. Look, he was a very good fighter, Jenkins, but he is past his best. But it is a very good test. You've got to remember, Cyrus, you know, half a dozen fights in this being his,
jumping as well, from 6 to 8s to 10s.
I gave him a story. I remember being on an undercard of Lee Meager fighting for the British title at York Hall, and I'd had about 2-3 fights, maybe even 5 fights. And I remember talking to Lee saying, "Are you nervous? You're top of the bill. You're fated on the poster. You're the main man. You're the main event." And he went, "Nah, not really, because you work to this moment." And he'd probably had 15, 20 fights. That isn't the case for Cyrus.
Good shout.
5 fights. He's straight in the deep end.
Top of the bill.
Top of the bill. In front of your adoring fans. And look, anyone who knows Cyrus knows he's a very level-headed man. He's switched on, and he seems to be taking it all in his stride. But a very, very good fighter. Yeah,
another very, very good fighter is Pat McCormack, and I mean very, very good fighter, right? As an amateur, he's won pretty much everything you can win. Excited to see how he transitions from the amateur ranks to the pro ranks, especially when you have those amateurs that have stayed amateur for so long.
Yeah, I mean, there's good fighters, there's very good fighters, and there's Pat McCormack.
Okay, yeah.
You know, he's in that realm of should go all the way.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, and I've just spent a bit of time with him this morning, and I know he's quite jovial and he's always messing about and joking, but he's switched on. He knows what it takes and what he's got to do to go all the way. You know, talent's just one part of it. You've got to have the hard work ethic, and he's got that.
Yeah.
And I just feel he's going to be such a tough man to beat.
Yeah.
You look at him stylistically.
Physically, he's quite big as well,
he's still got more maturity to come, I feel, which is frightening. The speed of hand, of foot, reaction, is, you know, that ring generalmanship, that IQ. It's just, it puts him on another realm, and I just feel that, I mean, if you're a fan of Pat McCormack, the future is going to be very bright. There's going to be some very big nights for him, and he's in the northeast. Yeah, and he's in a division that is very good now, but has through years always been a top division. So I think he's gonna be in some great nights.
Yeah, it's funny to think that Pattinson, McCormack, same division, welterweights.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I'm not starting trouble now, but eventually that's how it works, isn't it?
Well, look, again, I was speaking to him earlier, and they all spar with each other, and they bring each other on. And it was similar to me being down at the Repton in East London. It was a gym, or it is a gym, swamped in history, full of champions, and Berkeley's the same. You don't want to be the worst down the gym. And I think when you're sparring with these top quality fighters, as they are, it's just rubbing off, and they're learning from each other. Success breeds success, and yeah, look, I've heard them call it the Russia of England. The Russia of England, yeah, like, you know, Russia always reigned as one of the major countries in the amateurs, and they really are a very good gym. Run, and we've got to give him a little shout out, Graham Rutherford. Yeah. I mean, what a coach.
What's he producing? What's in the water? What is in the water?
No,
what is in the water?
It's incredible, but his dedication, his work ethic, his desire and his passion for the sport and for those kids. And look, I don't want to get too deep here, but it's more than boxing for Graham and his boys. It's about them respecting themselves, respecting their families, and respecting the club, and you know, walking with the shoulders back and being a good man. And he's really transferred that into the young lads.
Yeah, a couple more prospects, I'm going to call them, I want to talk about very quickly. Solomon Dakers fights for the English heavyweight title. I just saw him, 6'5", 16 stone. They're saying he's not a big heavyweight. What's going on?
Look, Robbins, mate, he fancies this. He genuinely fancies this. He's been saying he's not a real heavyweight. Well, I see a picture of Dakers and Tyson Fury recently, and Tyson Fury's huge, and there wasn't much difference in them height-wise. He fancies it,
and that's what we want. I think Dakers wants that as well. He wants someone that's going to come and try and take his head off.
Yeah, of course he does. Of course he does. And that I think there's going to be no secret here in the way that Ismai's going to approach the fight. That bell's going to go, and he's going to run and get on the chest of Dakers. And it's down to Dakers then to adjust and show us what he's all about. He's a very good fighter. I've been impressed with him. If I had one criticism, it would be that lack of going through the gears.
Aggression?
Aggression
or just going through the gears?
But look, the reason I say it a little bit reluctantly is because if you can make boxing a little bit easier, then do so. If you can coast in a fight, then do so, because boxing's so hard. But unfortunately,
in the heavyweight division, they want to see knockouts. In the heavyweight division,
and I am sat there as a former boxer, but you've got fans there paying their well-earned, hard-earned money on tickets. They want to see, you know, brutal knockouts. That's what the heavyweight division, why it's been so successful and always will be the marquee division in boxing. We want to see that spite and aggression, and I hope we see it in this fight. If there's someone in front of him really giving it to him, I think that might bring the best out of Dakers.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Dakers win that English heavyweight title, and then who knows, David Adeleye, potentially Johnny Fisher. I know they're close, same management team, but fights can happen. I hope he Price on the card as well, fights for the WBA Continental Super Bantamweight title. Feel like he's been around for a while, Hopi. He's only been around for 3 or 4 years, but it feels like we see him. It's 3 years, isn't it?
Just been speaking to him just here as I walked in the room here. And I said to him, you know, enjoy every second of it. It goes so quick. And I went, how many years have you been pro now? He said 3 years. I went, how quick's that gone?
How quick's that gone?
It's incredible. But I've been so impressed with his progression. We always knew he was a very good talent, and there was always that waiting for maturity, that physical man strength to come, and it's coming now, and he's looking very good. He's a very tough man to beat. Under the tutelage of Dave Caldwell, their relationship's very good, which is so important, and I think the future for Hopi is going to be very bright. I think we'll see the equivalent of this in Leeds with him.
Very important, quick one, last one. Have you seen Creed yet? Creed 3?
I haven't, mate.
Don't do it.
No.
Nah.
I see your tweet though.
See your tweet?
Yeah,
it's not great.
Well, I've not. If I'm deadly honest, I kind of lost interest, and I shouldn't say this because Tony's our mate.
Yeah, no, Tony in it is fantastic.
I've lost interest in the franchise. I think
after Rocky.
After Rocky 4. Rocky 4 was my favourite. Like,
over Rocky 1.
Yeah, I think Ivan Drago. I really
Russia
like that.
Thing, the training
I
scenes.
didn't really buy into Rocky 5, and so for when Creed come out, etc. It's not a bit of me, but I'm gonna try them.
Go and watch it.
I'm gonna
go and watch it because maybe it's just me. Yeah. Jose Benavidez, 154-pounder fighting for heavyweight title. You lost me on that. You lost me on that. All right, look, great night of boxing coming up your way this Saturday. Myself and Darren and the team will all be there. Here's a reminder of what's coming your way on the main card this Saturday night. We start with Callum French against Jordan Ellison. There's a heavyweight showdown with some bad blood in this one. Solomon Dakers and Robert Ismay lock horns for the English heavyweight title. Pat McCormack faces Italian Dario Socci. The co-main event sees Hopi Price look to make it 10 from 10 when he faces Thomas Mason. Then the hometown boy Cyrus Pattinson headlines in a WBA International Welterweight title showdown with Chris Jenkins. We're expecting a good night of boxing here from Newcastle on Saturday. All gets underway around 4-ish. Darren Barker and Chris Lloyd before the bell guiding you through that one. And then the main card starts from 7 o'clock. Yours truly presenting with a host of special guests as well. Barry Jones, Chev Clark, and we're hearing Eddie Hearn has made it back from Mexico as well. So we'll catch it all on Saturday, live on DAZN, the Next Gen card.
Put my problems in the paper, put my problems paper, dial up the deputy, mad at my brown.
One of the highest rated talents on the British scene right now.
I'm getting older and I'm getting better.
Long-term prospects from the northeast.
High quality fighter, really is a special talent.
There's very talented fighters, and then there's Pat McCormack.
Outgunned, overmatched, outworked by Cyrus Pattinson.
The best shot of his professional career so far.
This is first time under the lights. This is the first time he's been in a big occasion. This is why these next gen shows are so important.